Which surah did I read today? Surah Al-Hujurat. Well done, Brother Ali, mashallah. Surah Al-Hujurat. Mashallah. Surah Al-Hujurat is a surah that we all know is a surah that is very powerful. The whole Quran is powerful. But this surah talks about the importance of refining our character. It's all about our character. It's all about the mannerism that we should adhere to and the character that we should have, especially when it comes to the deen, when it comes to the Quran, when it comes to the Sunnah, when it comes to the way that we interact with one another, how we receive information, and how we utilize that information, and so forth. Remember the hadith we were in. How many relationships do we have to deal with? 3 relationships. 3 relationships. The relationship between us and Allah. The second relationship between ourselves, myself, and also relationship with others. اتق الله حيثما كنت. That's between you and Allah. وأتبع السيئات الحسنة تمحها. That's between you. It's yourself. It's about you. And the last one is وخالق الناس بخلق حسن. Very good. The خالق الناس بخلق حسن. Treating other people and interacting with other people with good akhlaq. Remember a couple of days ago I said to you, what is good akhlaq? Yesterday we talked about the relationship between us and others. The first relationship we mentioned was between ourselves and our parents. Okay? But today, this morning, I want to actually remind myself and all of you, first of all, what is khuluq al-hasan? What is the good akhlaq? How did the ulama actually define what good akhlaq is? Very important here. Because always you hear husnul khuluq, okay, to have a good akhlaq, have a good character, mashallah, your mannerism should be good and so forth. Okay, you should have good manners and so forth. So, but the question now is, what is actually good akhlaq? What's the definition of it? Some of the ulama, they have said good akhlaq is the following. بسط وطلاقة الوجه وبذل المعروف والخير والندى والجود وكف الأذى عن الخلق. This is what good character means. Number 1, it means a cheerful and welcoming face. This is how the Salaf understood it. Okay, welcoming, cheerful and welcoming face. That's number 1. They also said it's doing acts of kindness and goodness. That's what also good character is. Also generosity, being generous, not only with money, but also with your words. Generous with your words. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did he say in the Quran? وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. When you speak to people, speak to them nicely. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Say to my slaves to say that which is good. وَقُلْ لِعِبَادِي يَقُولُ الَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Allahu Akbar. Look at the beauty of our religion. We should say what is good. So that's what kindness also. Generosity, benevolence, and charity as well. Also, وَكَفِّ الْأَذَى عَنِ الْآخَرِينَ. Which is very important. Refraining from harming other people. With your hand and with your tongue. Like the Prophet ﷺ has said, سِبَابُ الْمُسْلِمِ فُسُوقٌ وَقِتَالُهُ كُفْرٌ. الْمُسْلِمُ مَنْ سَلِمَ الْمُسْلِمُونَ مِنْ لِسَانِهِ وَيَدِهِ. Who's the true Muslim? The true Muslim is the person whom other Muslims are safe from 2 things, from his tongue and from his hand. But as Muslims today, are other Muslims safe from our tongues and also from our hands? The opposite. Unfortunately, for many of us, the reality is the opposite. And the Prophet ﷺ is telling us what? Al-Muslimu man salima al-Muslimuna min lisanihi wa yadihi. Ask yourself, are other Muslims safe from my tongue and my hand, and also from my hands? Ask yourself this question. Very important. And the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us what? وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. MashaAllah. When you are interacting with other people, make sure that your relationship with them is good. Yesterday we talked about the important relationship between you and your parents. Who else should we have good relationship with? Who else should we have good relationship with? With our other fellow Muslim brothers. Yeah? Okay. So that's another group of people that we should have good relationship with. Okay, who else should we have good relationship with? Neighbors. We should have a good relationship with our neighbors. Who else should we have good relationship with? With everyone. Muslims, non-Muslims, everybody. Yes, we should have good relationship with them. Okay, what else? Allah. Spouses. That's the one I was looking for. Spouses. Our spouses, the wives, the sisters who are there, the husbands. Okay? And we will also talk about this. So the first one that we're going to touch upon is the spouses. Because the person that you're going to live with the most after your parents will be your spouse. Okay, you will get married and you live with that person maybe for the rest of your life. So you need to treat them very well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what did he say in the Quran? وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Ma'roof, which is like limitless. Subhanallah. وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ. Treat your spouses with ma'roof, with goodness. Okay? Regardless of the type of goodness. Be good to them. وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ فَإِنْ كَرِهْتُمُوهُنَّ فَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُوا شَيْئًا وَيَجْعَلَ اللَّهُ فِيهِ خَيْرًا كَثِيرًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even reminds you and tells you, if there is something that you dislike about your spouse, let that go. Because they still have a lot of other khair in them. Allahu Akbar. Look at the beauty. Who's giving you that advice? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imagine, do we know better than Allah? No. وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ فَإِنْ كَرِهْتُمُوهُنَّ شيئا فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا فإن كرهتموهن فعسى أن تكرهوا شيئا ويجعل الله فيه خيرا كثيرا. Plenty of khair. Very important. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what did he say? خيركم خيركم لأهلي وأنا خيركم لأهلي. Allahu Akbar. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the best among you are those who are best to their families. And I am the best to my family. Allahu Akbar. What a great example. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ tells us that I am the best to my family. Okay, I am great to my family. Subhanallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he said in the Quran, وَلِلْرِجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةً. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he talked about in Surah Al-Baqarah, okay, هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنَّ. Our spouses are like the clothing that we wear. They are like a clothing for us. The same way that our clothing is so close to our body, our spouses are that close to our body. They also cover us, subhanallah. What does your clothing does for you? Your clothing does for you so many different things. Give me an example. What do our clothing do? What does the clothing do for us? For example, it protects us from what? From the weather. For example, it protects you from the weather.
It hides all the shortcomings.
It hides a lot of your physical, subhanallah, issues. Each and every one of us, imagine if we were told to strip down right now. Just imagine that. And you have no clothing. Everybody's naked. Just imagine that. Subhanallah. You wouldn't, can I even, it's unfathomable. Okay? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ. When you have problems with your wife and your spouse, you are almost stripped naked. Subhanallah. It's very, هُنَّ لِبَاسٌ لَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ لِبَاسٌ لَهُنَّ. Subhanallah. And also what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in Surah وَالْمُطَلَّقَاتُ يَتَرَبَّصْنَ بِأَنفُسِهِنَّ ثَلَاثَةَ قُرُوءٍ وَلَا يَحِلُّ لَهُنَّ أَن يَكْتُمْنَ مَا خَلَقَ اللَّهُ فِي أَرْحَامِهِنَّ إِن كُنَّ يُؤْمِنَّ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَبُعُولَتُهُنَّ أَحَقُّ بِرَدِّهِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ إِنْ أَرَادُوا إِصْلَاحًا وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَلِلرِّجَالِ عَلَيْهِنَّ دَرَجَةٌ. Ulama, what did they say? وَلَهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ مثل الذي عليهن بالمعروف. The ulama, they have said, like Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he said, a man should dress up for his wife. Do you know when we get married sometimes and we come home and we expect the wife to dress up for the man. But what about the man dressing up for his wife and beautifying himself for his wife? That's what Abdullah ibn Abbas said. وَلَهُنَّ مِثْلُ الَّذِي عَلَيْهِنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. It means, Ibn Abbas said, that you need to beautify yourself for your wife. Don't just expect the wife to beautify herself for you. Okay? It has to be the other way. Reciprocate. Very important. So this relationship is very important. Why am I spending time on it? Because it's a very, very important relationship that you have to fix. A lot of problems that we have these days emanates from where? Where does it come from? What is the root of it? Is the breakdown of the family, meaning the breakdown of the husband and wife relationship. When it breaks down, a lot of other things break down. Very, very serious matter. Okay, so each and every one of us, those of us who are already married and those of us who are not married yet, each and every one of us, they should have a sincere intention to hold on to their families. Okay, and do whatever they can, sacrifice. Sometimes Umar ibn al-Khattab used to get shouted at by his wife. And then Umar used to say, how dare you raise your voice? I am the Amir al-Mu'mineen. How dare you raise your voice? Did he ever say that? No, he wouldn't say that to his wife. Someone came to the house of Umar radiallahu anhu, one of the companions wanting to complain to Umar and seek advice from him. And by the time he got to the door of Umar radiallahu anhu, he found Umar being shouted at by his wife. And then he probably went like this. Oh my God, I wasn't expecting this. And then walked off. And then Umar came out and said, what brought you here? And then why did you leave? He said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, I came seeking for an advice, thinking, mashallah, maybe you're going to solve my problems, but you had a bigger problem than I had. And then I left. Okay. That's the reality, subhanAllah. وَعَاشِرُهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. So this relationship is there. But nowadays, if your wife says anything to you, who does she think she is? Does she not know I'm a man? I'm the head of the house. How can she raise her voice? Okay, I am going to deal with her. No. Umar ibn Khattab used to get it. The Prophet ﷺ himself. Just imagine, the Prophet ﷺ, sometimes he used to get it. Are you better than the Prophet? Think, okay, calm yourselves. Very important, this relationship. Okay, as a man of the house, you have to have more patience. You have to have what? More hilm. Last night during the Fajr booster and reflection, what we talked about was what? Having the quality of al-hilm. In the Ibrahim la'awahun halim, forbearance. Forbearance is very, very important. Letting things go, okay? Forgiving people, pardoning people, very, very important to have that character. So وَخَالِقِ النَّاسَ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ. Who else should we have relationship with? Family, okay? Children, Allahu Akbar, okay? Muslim friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, all of these people. And the religion taught us exactly how to treat each and every one of them. But the question now is, do we have the time to talk about it? Come back for another lesson tomorrow. Okay. Today we're going to take home with which one? Which one? Family, spouse. Just let's try and put things, inshallah, into perspective and also practice them one by one at a time, inshallah ta'ala. How yesterday it was about the parents, we put a lot of emphasis. Today we are putting a lot of emphasis in the family, the spouse. Okay? Take care of your spouses. That's the message from this, inshallah ta'ala, hadith reflection today. Hayakum Allahu wa bayakum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're still sitting, you want more? Tomorrow, inshallah.